Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is a notable step down from its predecessor in 2019. It has a lackluster story with underwhelming mission and level designs. It is the same Call of Duty formula that we have been used to since 2009. It's kind of basically like, bad guy steals American super weapon. Bad guy wants to sell those weapons to the terrorists. Bad guy is associated with a large group of militia. In this case, is the Mexican drug cartel. Bad guy needs to be stopped and eliminated at all costs. So if that story arc sounds familiar to you, it should, because that's basically what the storyline of most of these games have been, so nothing new there. Modern Warfare 2019 was a breath of fresh air thanks to its extremely realistic mission designs and graphical detail, and while Modern Warfare 2 still maintains these attributes, it doesn't bring anything new to the table to distinguish it from its predecessor. Modern Warfare 2 is an absolutely beautiful looking game, and that cannot be argued, and its gunplay is still one of the best in modern war simulation titles in my opinion. Rifle and sniper rifles, I feel, have been actually reworked and have more of a punch upon firing them, making them that much more satisfying to use. Exclusive to the PlayStation 5, I must mention I do feel it gives a little bit more immersion thanks to the feedback of the dynamic adaptive triggers. So when you aim down your sight, you can pull the trigger back slightly until the resistance actually stops your finger. In that moment, you have to make a conscious decision to follow through with your shot, or maybe to let it go and find a new line of sight. This feature is more memorable when using single shot rifles or pistols, and can be easily overlooked if one just sprints around and full autos the entire map. However, something to add to this is the fact that these adaptive triggers are not coded by the devs to have varying resistances for varying guns. So when a Glock 5 and a 50 cal sniper rifle has the same resistance on the trigger, you notice the potential it could have had in terms of immersion if they would have just taken the time to map each weapon slightly differently on these amazing immersive triggers that the PlayStation 5 offers. Where Modern Warfare 2 makes the biggest mistakes is that it doesn't dare to innovate or change gameplay sequences, therefore the experience that we get for a £70 game is an all too familiar one, as all these sequences have been somewhat explored in earlier titles. Helicopter crashing, needing to cover and evacuate survivors, clearing buildings in a very scripted and static enemy location sequences, car chases, sniper stealth missions. All that Modern Warfare 2 offers is something that we've already seen, only it does it a little bit prettier. There are some returning characters in Modern Warfare 2, such as Price, Soap, Ghost, Shepard. However, somehow they feel less human and more paper-thin on-rail shooting assisting robots. Where in Modern Warfare 2019 the plot questioned whether good people should do bad things and give up their moral grounds for the better good and explore the brutality of war, Modern Warfare 2 is a more simple, there's a bad guy, so we go there and we kill them, and then we do this for another 13 missions or so. One mission in particular that I would want to pull out quickly and mention is the one that takes place in Amsterdam in a busy town. The attention to detail and the graphical fidelity is absolutely ridiculous, and it is easily one of the prettiest locations any game has delivered so far. The mission was stealthy and low-key, with a brief combat sequence in the middle of a busy side road full of civilians. I'd say this is the only time Modern Warfare 2 broke its Call of Duty formula and tried to explore new grounds. Problem is, this mission lasted for about 9 minutes and it was never seen again. It was almost like a beautiful first-person tech demo for a Jason Bourne or James Bond title. Modern Warfare 2 also doubles down on the smaller scale combat scenarios, ditching most open battles for house or street clearings. This creates the identity of a tactical special ops shooter, which in most cases is a fun experience, of course, at the expense of memorable big-scale battle moments like we had in the original 2009 Modern Warfare game. However, Modern Warfare 2 does have inconsistencies with the realism. Every now and then, during one of these house clearings, the game would throw you at a scenario with a full body armored enemy who can only be killed once their helmet or body armor has been shattered. At first, these new enemy variations felt like a welcome addition. The first time I ever died to one, I was excited to approach the sequence in a smarter, more tactical way. However, quickly I realized that these guys were nothing but lazy bullet sponges. I kid you not, at one point I fired an entire mag of M5 into one, followed by a grenade, and the gunner was still standing. All this while noting that if you play on anything higher than regular difficulty, 2 to 3 well-placed shots will absolutely drop the player. The Eye in the Sky mission, I'm gonna call it Eye in the Sky because I can't say the other word, that was originally in the game, where the player controls a gunship in the sky looking over a squad of soldiers. That was fun, however, again, it offers nothing new that the original Modern Warfare or even Black Ops already haven't offered for us. Of course, another ghillie suit mission was brought from the original Modern Warfare, and oh boy do I have things to say about this. However, before I do, let's discuss why the original mission was so awesome. So, the traversal of nuclear waste-riddled Chernobyl, where you make your way through a dead city, enemies positioned in various places, and terrains made kinda sense in terms of Russian militia tactics. While there were scripted events in the missions, the most memorable is the ending, where an evac helicopter was closing in 10 minutes away, and the player had around 90 seconds before the hostile soldiers closed in to their line of sight. That 90 seconds was an adrenaline-riddled, panicked planning session, strategically placing claymores and other traps, rushing back to finding a good position where you have higher ground that covers the majority of the battle area. As the enemies were closing in, you, as the player, made a conscious decision as to when to assault them or whether you'd want to allow the claymore mines to take half of them before you even open fire. Every single time you replay that mission, this specific encounter was unique based on how effectively you placed these mines on the field. And if you haven't done so at all, the chances of the enemy running you down and the chances of the player character dying was increased significantly. It was a thrilling, adrenaline-riddled 10 to 12 minutes of combat that the difficulty of it really did depend on the player's planning and preparedness. Now let's talk about the take Modern Warfare 2 in 2022 took with this mission. It is based in the most boring plains there is, with a singular enemy base in the middle of nowhere. The objective is to snipe all visible enemies and then infiltrate to take out the enemies within the buildings. The actual sniping is as boring as it gets. Aiming at an enemy with the scope makes price tell you whether they are alone or with someone, which is just irrelevant and obvious information. Then telling you how many notches to account for bullet drop. Now, there is no wind, or enemy awareness of other dead soldiers apparently. The bullet's impact seems to not have any noise, as enemies on the other side of a wall seem to be completely oblivious to the fact that their comrade dropped after the killing shot of a 50 caliber bullet smashing into your surface. And the repetition is mind-boggling. So once all the NCP targets have been shot down, you are then tasked to go into the base alone, while Price covers you, and it becomes yet another stealth infiltration that turns into a full-blown shootout, completely taking away the atmosphere and identity of the mission of two badass snipers behind enemy lines, outsmarting their foes. So, I guess overall, since the gunplay and the graphical fidelity is as amazing as it has ever been, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 manages to deliver a fun shooting experience. However, the fundamentally linear and predictable story, the bad level design, and too much effort to recreate past memorable moments for the sake of nostalgia just takes away from what it could potentially be and leaves the player craving for so much more. I'd score Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 campaign a low 7 out of 10. The only reason I won't give it a 6 is because of how smooth the gameplay experience was. I've not really had any noticeable texture pop-ins, nor any glitches. 60 FPS was only very rarely dropped to high 40s in high intense graphical real-time sequences, and I have not experienced any crashes myself. Please like the video if you did, and subscribe for the upcoming Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer review very soon. Also, why not comment what did you think about the campaign and what are your expectations or even maybe predictions for the multiplayer. Thank you very much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.